Hello everyone, you are here with me, Kia. This is Questions with the Queen. As you all know, we've been doing themed Questions with the Queen, which was requested on by all of you. So with that being said, we're going to get back to basics. We're just going to have a couple of questions that, my husband / the camera guy is going to ask me, and y'all are going to get my opinion, my thoughts, which that's exactly what there are, my opinion, my thoughts. So if you have different views or different opinions and you want to talk to me about them, please feel free to drop comments in our DMs. Like I said, I'm going to give credit to my husband, Steve. He is the camera guy as well as the question guy, so go ahead and give him like a round of applause, give him, hands up, high fives, whatever you want to do. And let's go ahead and get into it.
It is exciting to kind of break away from the themes from time to time. Get back to where it all began. So, it's good to drop these in from time to time. But anyway, all of our questions are coming from our generic Instagram. Follow us on the Ring Apron. We have them on Twitter. Basically, if you've got questions you want to know the answer to, just, always message us out. They may very well get answered right here. Our first one, when you started watching wrestling, you've mentioned on a previous show that you started watching in early 2006. What point did you realize, okay, I can really get into this? What was the moment or what was the match that really kind of set the tone for you to become the hardcore wrestling fan we see now every day?
Again, between 2005 and 2006, because, with me being as old as I am, I do have a tendency to forget. So, I would have to say, I enjoy wrestling. Everybody knows that. I got into it, like I said, 2005, 2006, but the match I got into, or I end up seeing, not literally on not on WWE, but I think I end up going back and looking at it on YouTube, was the John Cena, Eddie Guerrero street fight match. Again, I said it in a previous video, I love the heels. I love the heat that they bring. I love the vibes that they have, the accessories they come with. When you come out in a car, like Eddie Guerrero did, or Chavo, or even, let's go ahead and think present day, Sasha. You got something up your sleeve that's going to be hella good. So that would be the match for me. That's what pulled me in and said, oh my God, I didn't think I could love heels so much. And at the time, I didn't really know what a heel and face was. And I had to actually go back and, for anybody that is a wrestling fan or a stan, you go back and you do your research. I had to research that, and I found out that a heel is a bad person and a face is a good person. So I love my heels. That's why I love that match so much. So.
Thank you for not saying Eve Torres versus Melina. A special shout out on our channel to anyone who catches that reference. But anyway, moving on. So you've got we obviously can see behind you on your backdrop, and it leads to a nice segue. Which championship title that has ever existed, current or past, is your favorite and why?
Oh my goodness.
And feel free to bust it out if we happen to have it back there.
We don't have this one at the moment because my husband is still, looking into getting it, but it is the women's championship title that Trish held for some time. So that one was the one. If we go back and let's go ahead and say go back to the past, a blast from the past, that'd be one. But my most favorite one as of right now, I would have to say, and I know this one got so much grief, so again, my thoughts, my opinion, it is sitting behind me, our Intercontinental one right here. I know for the longest time, it was the white one that, everybody so much fell in love with. They liked it, they loved it, but then it got switched over and everybody just kind of gave it flack. And I can tell you for one person, I'm probably the only person that anytime they come out with a title belt, I'm probably going to always end up loving it unless it's just something that just turns my head. So our Intercontinental one would be the one I like the most.
And we're talking about the new one.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
You're right. That one did catch a lot of flack, but I think it's grown on us very similar to the way the U.S. that's sitting over by your other leg has picked up steam in the last couple of weeks.
Oh yes, the U.S. too. Again, I'm the person that I will love any title they bring out, as long as it's got like a good feel to it, a good look. I'm all for it, and especially if I'm going to be winning it, like the 24/7 that I might take off my youngest. Hey, I'm his mother. I birthed him. I can take it if I want to.
You're going to have to get old enough eventually, right?
Yep, exactly.
Speaking of which, that actually brings us well, you're segueing very well into our questions today.
Thank you.
Somebody actually brought up a question, and this is a good one to ask. If you ever had an opportunity to wrestle a single match of your own against any person of your choosing, past or present, who would you want and why?
Oh my gosh, that is a very good question to whoever thought of that one. I would love to. Here's my list, and I'll explain why as I'm going through it. I would love to wrestle Melina. She is one of my favorite heels, especially for a woman who could look good while being bad. And she had the flexibility, and to me, if you can have the flexibility and the looks and the sex appeal, I will take you on anytime, any place of your choosing. Her, I'm going to have to say Lita. Lita, to me, she exudes, I'm badass, I'm going to be who I want to be. Another thing that gets me about her, I was watching a match, and someone had to explain it to me because I said, and I was talking to my husband and said, I think something's wrong with her neck. And I think my husband ended up telling me, I think she ended up hitting it wrong or something, but she ended up wrestling for 20 minutes. To me, that's why I consider her to be such a badass, is because if you can have an injury that you take during the match and you can keep wrestling for 15 to 20 minutes, I applaud you, no joke, because I can tell you, I know a lot of people wouldn't do that. Trish. I know we look at Trish and she's this blonde bombshell from Canada, and you look at her and she has aged so gracefully that it doesn't even look like she's left wrestling at all. Like, she could put, I'm gonna go on record, and I might have the most unpopular opinion. She can come back right now, and I think I'll take out half of the women's roster without batting an eyelash or breaking a sweat. But those will be my three from the past. But if we have to talk about the present, this person is out on maternity leave. I would love to wrestle the man. I think that would be a very good one. I probably get my ass whipped, and I'm okay with that, but look at who I'm fighting. Sasha would be another one that I would love to go toe-to-toe with. That she if you look at who she is, she seems like a gritty fighter. She might look cute, but I think she looks like a gritty fighter, and I think, honestly, if I had to have a match with her, I'd want it to be a street fight. That girl seems as tough as they come. And then, these are just all women, as you can tell. I would have to say probably Charlotte, so 3 out of the 4 horsewomen, only because, I would, being a queen myself, I want to be in the ring with the queen who keeps herself, on a level above everybody else, because she knows she's the queen, and she knows she can make you bow down to her. So, yeah. As far as the men, I would have to kind of put that list through the ringer, because there's plenty of them I would like to wrestle if I got the chance.
So, apologies to Bailey Dose Straps if she's watching this. Sorry,
no,
you don't make the cut.
I'm not apologizing. Don't apologize for me. I'm not apologizing. I have no shame.
Well, it is what it is. All right. Next one comes in. This is one that kind of falls into your fan base more than, we're talking to Kia the fan instead of the queen that you see on camera before us. Have you...
And yes, there is a difference. Kia the fan will lose her freaking mind if one of her people lose, will be excited and jumping all over the arena if her people win. And Kia the queen that you see is very graceful. So go ahead.
Well, it's a beautiful segue again. You're doing very well this evening.
Thank you.
That your question is, have you had a meet and greet or met a wrestler of any kind that has had you just fangirl out from the moment it was your turn to start talking to them? For the record, I know the correct answer to this, but let's see if she goes with the same one.
Are we talking man or are we talking woman?
There's no limitation on the question. Who is someone you've met where you have just fangirled out from the moment you showed up?
Oh, wow. Y'all could probably hear crickets right now. I would have to honestly say he's not with our roster right now. He's not with our roster anymore, but I I'd have to say Dean Ambrose.
Oh, good, she said it.
That's who he was when he was wrestling with the WWE. But before that, he was known as John Moxley, and I think he went back to that persona of John Moxley. But oh my gosh, my husband was not with me, and I really needed him to be with me because, like, from the moment I got the wristband at the door and I stepped in his line, all I could do to prevent myself from like rushing to the bathroom, heaving at my guts, is thinking, what is he like? Is he cool? I want a hug. Is he going to give me a hug? Because I've had some really bad experiences. I'm not going to mention no names, and neither will my husband, with like a meet and greet that kind of broke me. But I've also had some very good experiences. But Dean Ambrose, I love him. I love him. There is no way. I'd probably say the only other person that loves him more than me would be my sister Haley. But we both, or my sister Misty, we both knew him as John Moxley. And I am the one that, like, I do have moments where I just get so excited that I don't even think about it. I asked him for a hug. And he bless his heart, he was so gracious, so thank you. And I go in to hug him, not really trying to hurt him or put him in a chokehold, but if y'all go back, and we will post the picture on, like, Instagram, I literally chokehold the shit out of him, and, like, you could tell he liked it. That's how, it's just, like, it may not look like it, but he said that's probably one of the best hugs I think he has gotten from a fan. I didn't mean to chokehold the crap out of him, you know. I look crazy. He probably looks scared. That's what you're going to see when you see the picture, but Dean Ambrose, love you, miss you, do well in AEW, you know. I can't say no more. I love the man. Outside of probably Renee, but, you know, we'll leave that as is.
All right, we got time for maybe one more question in here for time's up here.
Okay.
If you had the ability right now to push any one superstar to championship status, doesn't matter if they're mid-card, championship, low-card, developmental, doesn't matter. If you can pick one person to push to the main event and championship status, who you sending up there? And this is, again, male or female. There's no limitation asked on the question.
I would have to say
That's how you know it's a good question. You've got her stumped and we've got dead air.
yeah. I would have to say for me, now that I'm thinking about it, my girl Bianca Belair. I don't care how y'all feel, what y'all say. She is the EST for a reason. She does her thing on the mic. She does her thing in the ring. To me, she's a draw. If you want ratings and you want a hell of a promo cut outside of probably The Rock himself, you need to get her. Get her. So I would give her the push. I know she has just come up from the main roster and she's been with us for a minute, but that's who I'd push as far as a woman's perspective. But on the flip side, on a man's perspective, if I have to push anybody, I know it's going to be weird for y'all to hear me say this, but I would push Dexter Lumis probably. And I know that's like, oh my God, he's creepy. Why would you push him? Da, da, da. I have a thing for Dexter Lumis and creepy guys, but we won't even get into that because that's just a whole different can of worms. But those would be my two answers: Bianca Belair and Dexter Lumis crawling on his hands and knees. So, as you know, those are all my questions for today. I actually enjoy answering, but I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna slowly back up out of the spotlight, and I'm going to go get something to eat. I want to take the time to thank my husband for everything he does with the production of the videos, the editing, the camera work, the sound, just everything across the board, filling it, just doing everything to make our shows the best they possibly can. And I would also like to take the time to thank Mania Club for actually bringing us in.